Hello, 8th grade Grizzlies. This is Miss Brown, and in this video I am going to show you a simple brain dump that you can do for the test. One of the brain dumps is going to be related to the plate tectonics, and the other brain dump is going to be related to the carbon cycle. Okay, so I just have this 3x5 card. I'm going to write on both sides of the card. Okay. So what I'm going to do is go ahead and I'm going to start with the plate tectonics brain dump on this side, and then since this side is blank, I'm going to do the carbon cycle on this side. Okay. And as I said, this is just a simple brain dump you can do. Just take 3 to 5 minutes before you begin your test to write this down, dump it out of your head, and it can help you on your test. All right. Okay, so let me stop talking and let's get started. Okay, so for my plate tectonics brain dump, I know that there are three types of plate boundaries: convergent, divergent, and transform. So that's what I'm going to start with. So I'm going to say convergent. Then there's divergent. And then there's transform. Okay. All right. And then from there, I'm going to divide it up into threes. Okay, because for the convergent boundary, well, let me back up. There are two types of crust that we're going to deal with: ocean crust and land crust. Okay, so for a convergent boundary, you can have three different combinations, I should say, of crust coming together. You can have continent to continent. So my continent is going to be green. Okay. Then you can have ocean to ocean. And then you can have ocean to continent. Okay. And remember, your convergent boundaries, they come together, or one can sink underneath or subduct underneath the other. Your divergent, they move apart, and your transform, they slide past each other. Okay. So for divergent boundary, you can have two land plates, two continental plates pulling apart. Here, let me fix that. So it should have been a C. So you have two continental crusts pulling apart, or you can have two ocean plates pulling apart. And for transform, we only deal with land crust. Okay. Okay, so let's go back to this one. We're going to start over here. So at a convergent boundary where you have two continental or two land crusts coming together, you're going to get a mountain. Okay? Because continental crust has the same density. So it's just going to pile up and make a mountain. Okay? Now, when you have two ocean crusts coming together, one of those ocean crusts is going to subduct or sink underneath the other. So if you have two ocean crusts coming together, you're going to get a volcanic island, or as I said in the other video, a volcano in the water. Okay? And then when you have an ocean crust coming together with a land crust, the ocean crust is going to subduct because it's more dense. So when you have an ocean plate coming together with a land or continental plate, ocean plate subducts and you get a volcano. And I always say volcano on land, because two ocean crusts gives you a volcanic island or volcano in the water. This one gives you a volcano on the land. Okay? Okay, and then for your divergent boundary, you can have two continental or land crusts pulling apart or two ocean crusts pulling apart. Okay? So if the two land crusts pull apart, you're going to get a rift valley. And I think of V, because one crust is going this way, one crust is going that way. You're going to get a rift valley. Now if you have two ocean crusts that pull apart, one plate's going to go this way, one plate's going to go that way. And then what happens is that magma comes up and hardens, and you get a mid-ocean ridge. Okay, so that magma comes up and it hardens and it makes a mid-ocean ridge. Okay. All right, and then the last plate boundary we talked about was transform boundary, and that is only dealing with continental or land crust. So when the continental crust, when they slide past each other like this or like this, you get earthquakes. And you get faults. You get fault lines. Okay? So this is a simple little brain dump you can do. You have your three boundaries. You have your three types of crust, or your three combinations of crust coming together for convergent. You have your ocean and continent pulling apart, and then just your continental crust for transform. So this little card can help you if you, like I said, brain dump it before you start your test, okay? All right, I'm going to flip it over, and we're going to do the carbon cycle really quick, and then we'll be done. All righty. So we also studied the carbon cycle quite extensively. So I'm going to go over that very quickly. All right. So we're going to start with the atmosphere here. Okay, so we're going to talk about the ways that carbon gets into the atmosphere and ways that it goes back into, gets put into the atmosphere and taken out of the atmosphere, is what I'm trying to say. Okay, so we're going to start over here. I'm going to draw 3 arrows in the middle. And we draw an arrow on the side. Okay, so ways carbon gets into the atmosphere. You have fossil fuels. Okay, and that gets into the atmosphere by burning. Okay, you also have respiration. Okay, and actually, let me take this arrow out, because that should go the other way. Okay, so we have respiration here. So we have animals. Okay. And then down here we have decomposers. So I'm going to draw this arrow right here. And then over here we have plants. Okay. So with the animals, when animals, and I'm going to put humans here too, when we exhale carbon dioxide, it goes back into the carbon gets put back into the atmosphere. Okay? When plants die, they release carbon back into the atmosphere. Okay? And then I'm going to draw an arrow down here as well, because when animals die and decompose, that also puts carbon back into the soil. So when animals exhale, it puts it in the atmosphere. When it dies, the remains get put back into the soil. Okay. And then I'm going to put feeding in here. Okay. And I'm going to draw an arrow from the plants over to the animals. Okay. Because when animals eat plants, that's a way that carbon is taken out of the atmosphere. And then photosynthesis. I hope you can read that. I kind of had to squish it here on the side. And let me see if I can turn it another way. Okay, let me write it this way. Okay, so photosynthesis is one way that carbon is taken out of the atmosphere, because plants take in carbon dioxide in order to perform photosynthesis. Okay, so this is very similar to the notes that we did. I'm going to show you. So see this note page right here? Okay, this card is very similar to that. So you can also recreate that on your before you take your test, and that just gets it out of your head, and then you can use it, during your test to kind of help you answer questions. Okay, I hope this is helpful for you, Grizzlies. This is your last test for the this semester, actually. So we believe in you, Grizzlies, and we know you're going to do well.